Hi guys, going to go over a quick and brief sales training today. One we haven't touched base on a long time that was kind of on my mind is about body language and reading people. So what brought this to my mind was I got to have a lot of fun last week. I got to go on a little golf vacation in Oahu, and we got connected with a couple from Japan. Our very first round of golf, it was me and one of our board members, Mark Mercer, and we were playing, and the couple that got, because it was overly crowded, that got added to us was this really nice younger couple, well, younger 30s, life is relevant, isn't it? That was Japanese, and obviously smarter than me because they at least spoke some English, but not easily and not a lot. And we, of course, spoke no Japanese. But we had the best time together. And it's amazing how much you can communicate even through a language barrier if you want to. Which means the words we use, the things we say, as incredibly important as they are. I mean, for example, it's how we're communicating right now. It is still not as important as the nonverbal communication. The ability to get through and to be able to have a fun, meaningful bonding time over a 4.5 hour period, rather than getting irritated, frustrated, anything else, was cakewalk. A lot of it begins with intent. I grant you that, but the communication can happen irrelevant of intent. If you want to have good time communication, you have a good time intent going in, but irrelevant, it is still there. And I could go over some of the normals, and I'd love to. You know, you watch the smile, you try to, but that's all been covered enough in the past. The thing I'm going to try to touch on briefly today was trying to elicit a response to figure out a reaction by reading not the words, but the body language coming from. In other words, one of the fun things here was if they would hit a shot. They're not used to Southern people and our style of doing things, obviously. But if they did anything good, we'd cheer. And we'd cheer loud and we'd clap. And you would see, especially the first few holes, a little bit of a shock. But there was also instantly a wave of a little bit of joy. And whether they're used to being complimented or not, don't care. It might just be, wow, how fun to be complimented from somebody outside of my normal circle. Either way, it was, oh, and then, huh. And you could read that. You could tell, there was no question in any language that their response to our response was joyful, was happy, was positive. If you ever did anything that came across the other way, you would see kind of a cringe and a negative. If you made an angry noise that they might not know as a cuss word, but they know as a cuss word because you blew a shot, and you're like, oh, okay, I created some offense. My point to this is, I'm using this example because it made me think of it, but the reality of life, every now and then when you're in a negotiating situation or getting to know someone's situation, every now and then it can be very handy to just float a shocker out. Float some weird thing out, and don't try to poke people in the eye. You're not trying to destroy stuff here, but get something that gets a body reaction first. The body and the emotion will react faster than the mind will. You will get a very honest response from this much quicker than you will from this. So if you're just going off of verbal, it's harder, but you can kind of get a feel for what do people like, what do people dislike. It is a matter of reading the emotion of the body language and not just the hidden. Usually when you get into body language, you want to do this, you know, what does this mean, and what does this mean, and what does this mean? And that matters, and that's important. How they dress, that matters, that's important. Reading the face, that matters, that's important. Where do the eyes go? That matters, that's important. But remembering to pop little ones out there now and then just to see how did they react, and it helps you to know where to flow with conversation. A guy that takes a slightly off-color comment, or a couple that does and gives kind of that, you know they're a little more playful, a little more rowdy, and you're going to go with that format. If you do it and it's kind of, we have a much straighter up, we have much more straight lace. Read the body language and the emotion to know how you want to flow through your discussion, your negotiation, your presentation. You can't meet someone where they are if you don't know where they are. And the more you know where they are, the more likely you are. I can't meet you at the mall if all I know is you're in the city. I can't meet you in the city if all I know is you're in the state. But the more we can narrow it down, the better. And at the same time, I can meet you at the mall. We've gotten specific enough now. I've got enough info about you. I'll probably find you. But how much easier is it if you say you're at the food court? And I can meet you at the food court. It's probably not going to take too long, but how much easier is it if you say, I'm sitting at the booth in front of Chick-fil-A? Now I can go straight to you. The reason we float these out, the reason we want to look for these quick reactions, because they tell us the greatest, fastest truth to their emotional state. And no sell is ever made to the brain before it's made to the heart. When the brain will justify what the heart wants. You can win the brain. If it doesn't match the heart, it does not matter. It is all about the heart. So if you can float things out that can get the emotional response to help you pinpoint where they are, what their type is, so you can meet them where they are better, the odds of you being able to connect and make a sale and guide the heart to where you need it to go is everything. That's probably enough. If it wasn't enough, my apologies, let me know and we'll add to it next time. But I'm trying to shorten and tighten these up a little bit. So that is it for today. I hope this is helpful. Thank you very much.